Today is National Key Lime Pie Day, and Americans are celebrating this world-famous dessert. You know, it's believed that this dessert was created in the late 1890s by a lady named Aunt Sally. Sally was a cook for a Florida millionaire, and she had a problem. See, at the time, there was no refrigeration for food, and because of that, it was difficult to prepare good desserts. But Sally got a creative idea. She realized that limes were plentiful on the Florida Keys, so she used them with some condensed milk and got some graham crackers for the crust, and she created a no-bake pie. And for years, that pie has been a favorite in the Florida Keys. But then, in the 1930s, as a way to sell more condensed milk, Borden Food Company started to market the pie nationwide. And in 2006, it became the official pie of the state of Florida. You know, thinking about limes, it reminds me of a historical story about how limes and lemons saved thousands of sailors' lives. But this did not happen without great challenges. Which brings me to the subject of today's nugget: resistance to change. And I'll be right back with our coaching segment.
How do you renew your mind? You have an experience that gives you a revelation. It's not new, but it's new to you. That's how you renew your mind.
Resistance to change is a powerful force that prevents people and organizations from adopting new ideas and methods. I came across a story that encapsulates this struggle. When long sea voyages became common in the British Navy, there was a disease called scurvy, and it was rampant among the sailors. And thousands of sailors experienced sickness and death. And the problem was that little was known what caused scurvy, and even less about what could be a possible cure. But then in 1553, British Admiral Sir Richard Hawkins reported to his superiors that he observed that the juice from lemons and limes had been effective in dealing with the disease. However, the observations of the admirals went unheeded by those in authority. And as a result, sickness and death from scurvy continued for the next 200 years. And it wasn't until 1753 that a British naval surgeon named Dr. James Lind released a detailed study which cited that many cases of scurvy were being cured and prevented simply by supplying the sailors with citrus fruits. Now, you might rightfully expect that Dr. Lind would have been highly praised for this discovery. The opposite was true. The doctor was actually ridiculed. In fact, the Lords at Admiralty and the Navy physicians ignored his evidence. And so, sickness and death from scurvy continued for another 40 years. And finally, in 1794, the British Navy agreed to conduct an experiment. They supplied a squadron of sailors with citrus fruits for their 6-month journey. And guess what? There was not one death from scurvy in the 6-month journey. Okay, that settles it. No. In spite of this evidence, it was another 10 years before regulations were enacted that required sailors to have a daily ration of citrus. And as a result of that, scurvy in the British Navy disappeared. Business tycoon J. Paul Getty once stated, "Sometimes the biggest enemy to embrace in the future is our past experiences in thinking." So I would encourage you as a leader, ask yourself, might resistance to changes be causing you and your organization to missing opportunities for improvement and growth? If so, make some changes. God bless you. Go with increase.